Hello, everybody, and welcome to Thousand Faces TTRPG and Go Buff Yourself present the first session of a mini campaign using the Mothership system, another bug hunt. I am joined by 6 incredible friends, performers, players who have all never been on the stream before. So we got some people to introduce to you all. I'm just going to go according to the stream layout here. So I am starting with the one right there. So Corey.
What up, everybody? My name is Corey. You can find me at Corey J. Phillips 7 on all social media, or just Corey J. Phillips on all social media. I'm so excited, and I'm so excited for this very scary thing because it's all the things I'm afraid of.
We're going to face our fears tonight. And who are you going to be playing tonight? I forgot to ask you to say that, but might as well.
Yeah,
Don't give a visual description yet, just name and maybe class.
I'll be playing Dawson, and he's a Marine.
All right. Gabby.
Oh, hello. I am a Gabby. I am playing an android named Reese. Much excited to play in another horrifying campaign with Ethan because he loves to chase me around and scare me. So, yay.
That makes it sound so much worse. For the record, I have never once chased Gabby. We've never even met in person. So, yet. No. And who are you? You said you were playing Reese, and what's your class?
I am an android.
Android. All right. Sammy B.
What's up? I'm Sam. You can follow me at SammyB_DMT on everything. And today I'm going to be playing Dr. Dan Carpenter, our one scientist. And I'm super stoked for it because this is going to be like the first real TTRPG experience for me.
So happy to have you in here, and you're jumping in head first, jumping into the deep end here. Next up, we have Jolly Yellow Nerd.
So how it goes with folks, as the name says, you can find me, Jolly Yellow Nerd, on all socials at this point. And tonight I will be playing David Friedman, the grumpy engineer that is too old for this.
Every mission needs one. And for the record, just for clarity, I won't be referring to our friend here as Jolly Yellow Nerd every single time, so when you hear Jolly, that's who I mean. Sean.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sean. I'm very excited to play. I am playing a Teamster named William Wiz Wessler, or WWW. I am also an engineer. I'm going to be playing the little young shithead engineer, trying to keep up with the seasoned engineer.
WWW, is it too early to kill a character?
Do it right away.
Before the session starts.
I have so many backups for this, expecting this problem to happen. I am excited to play and excited to die.
And Jack.
How's it going, guys? I'm Jack. I'll be playing Charles, the quirky android that you might wonder why they even brought this machine around on this mission, but definitely excited to be terrified and to probably get out of my depth here. You know, this is anytime like watching the new Alien Romulus, just going like, oh boy, we've crossed into a threshold that I cannot handle.
Well, and for those of you who might not know, my name is Ethan. I will be your warden for this story, and I have just a few things to go over before we jump in. Little basics about Mothership the game. This is a D100 system, and whenever the players here have to roll, they are going to try to roll low. Low is good in this game. This game is also very fatal, which brings us to our content warnings for this game, because I want to be very clear with this. Mothership is a horror TTRPG. So, The content warnings specifically listed in this little module that we're running include arachnophobia, body horror, mind control, violence, and claustrophobia. Just be aware of those things. Step back whenever you need. You can always come back and listen later on Go Buff Yourself. With all of that, again, 18 plus stream, almost certainly for language, definitely for content. So just be aware of that ahead of time. I think those were all my announcements. So, y'all want to play some Mothership? And maybe die?
Yeah.
Let's do it. A low drone. Normally, your brains and ears would filter out the ever-present hum of the Metamorphosis engine and core. But as you sluggishly come to your senses from a timeless, dreamless sleep in your cryopod, the drone is loud, palpable, almost physical. There's a sharp, metallic taste in the back of your throat. A common side effect you're familiar with, an effect of the cryosleep chemicals that have kept you entombed in your pod until now. Your muscles ache, your limbs heavy and sore. There is a hissing sound as the carefully monitored atmosphere of your cryopod is unsealed. Your eyes flutter open, the brightness of the room you're in forcing your eyes into a squint, as if they haven't seen the light in months. Because they haven't. The recycled air of the ship floods into the cryopod, carrying the faint smell of ozone and engine grease. Frost still clings to the window of the pod door as it is melting, running into a puddle on the floor that runs down the slightly angled floor to a drain to be collected and recycled later. Around you, you hear the hissing of numerous other pods opening, the groans of the crew coming awake. There's the sound of leather-soled shoes tapping on the metal floor as a man walks up and down the aisle of pods, making quick notes on a handheld terminal. And as you all climb out of your cryopods, I'd like to know who we see. Gabby, could you start us off?
Sure. Stepping out of the cryopod, you see a figure, 5'9", 5'10", with a leaner, more athletic build. Their face and figure, neither presenting as very masculine or feminine. They've got short, dirty blonde hair that's cut into a rather unkempt pixie, cut really close on the sides, definitely done more for just practicality than style. And other than that, they have these bluish gray eyes, but there's nothing noticeable about them after that. So much so that if they were to pass you in a crowd, you probably wouldn't even notice they had ever been there.
love that. The man with the hand terminal walks past you and makes a note on it and continues walking down the aisle. Coming next to Jack.
You see also very, very blank face, very, almost similarly indistinguishable features, normal looking, sandy, blonde hair, about 5'10", 5'11", and kind of almost a little spaced out, almost a little curious about what's going on, but also something's going on also in the back of this person's mind for sure.
The clicking of the leather shoes, makes another note, walks past you. The next individual that the camera comes to, Sean.
You see a very thin, almost looks emaciated type person, almost that kid just out of that awkward teenager phase. Their early 20s, maybe 5'6", not super tall, spiked hair, white tips. It's very, very twitchy, kind of spastic of the surroundings, trying to take it all in best he can. Sharp green eyes on him, very thin face, very almost mouse-like with their appearance and reactions to everything, just quickly rubbing the eyes, trying to get a quick look around. And fingers are a little thinly.
And the man walks by, looks at you. Wessler?
Yes. In the book. Yep. Hi.
Just gives you a nod, moves on. Sam. He comes to you next. And who do we see?
We see a man about 5'10", 5'11"-ish. Very, built like someone who's been doing manual labor for their whole life, but has since quit and let themselves go a little bit. They've also just been through this a million times and very laid back about waking up and calm, knowing exactly what's to come from this kind of travel.
The man continues on, making notes. Corey.
You see a gristle, like just a grizzled old 57-year-old. He's peppered gray and black hair mixed in with brown eyes, like lean forward and look at the attendant, smirk at him a little bit, and then immediately throws up on the floor. Well, chuckles to himself. He obviously has been a man of service. He's athletic, but like you can tell that he's athletic, but not because he works out, because of the lifestyle he has led. He has scars all over his body that have seemingly healed and mostly healed. It gives off an air of a man that is living life 1 minute at a time. He's both athletic and not, and just looks the attendant in the eyes like, sorry about that, egghead. I get sick on these.
He steps back as you vomit and just gives a eye roll along with Marines. And before we continue further, I just want to do one thing really quick. Sam, I just want to double check and make sure that Discord is using the correct microphone for you, because you seemed a little quiet, at least on my end, for having your mic right there. Could we just double check that really quick?
Better?
I'm not sure. So I just want to double check the Discord settings really quick. If on Discord, like on the group chat, if you just go to the little gear at the bottom left and click on that, then about 15 or so options down on the left, you'll see voice and video.
Yes, output volume.
And it's your input device. Just make sure that it's set to your correct one.
Yes.
Okay. Then maybe you can kick up the input volume on there just a little bit on Discord, and it should be fine.
Yeah, it's all the way up. Maybe
Cool.
my microphone sensitivity. How's that? Is it better?
That seems better. I can hear better. What about you all? That seem a little bit better?
Okay.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you. Hey, quick technical things. We got to work that out sometime. And the last of the cryopods that the man with the hand terminal comes to. Jolly, who do we see there?
So you see kind of an aged man. He's about in his late 40s. He gets out of his pod, and he seems to have done this a couple times before. He immediately gets out, does the body check, takes like a 1-2 step to make sure everything came back properly. And then he even turns around and starts checking out the pod he just got out of, like he's about to pull out tools and start working on it or something. But, everything seems fine with it. And, just does a big inhale, big exhale. Everything feels right. Then he turns around and looks at the gentleman with the hand terminal and just kind of gets like a all over again, huh? Which one are you?
My name is Mas, and you must be... Looks down at his notes. David... what was it? Freeman?
Yeah. David Freeman.
Excellent. No loss of cargo on this trip. Wonderful. Everyone, please take your stim pack and meet in the briefing room 10 minutes. Walks out. There are stim packs next to each one of your pods waiting for you, and you're very familiar with these. This is how you get rid of cryosickness quickly. Stick it into your arm and just feel as a cocktail of drugs floods your system and instantly improves your awareness. Your muscles loosen up, your vision clears, and that droning sound that felt so oppressive just quiets a little bit in your mind. About 20 minutes later, we cut to the briefing room of the Metamorphosis, where the 6 of you and the man who introduced himself as Mas have gathered. He is standing in front of you all, has a small hollow display that pulls up what he is referring to. As I said to a few of you, my name is Mas. I am a liaison from the company, and I will be briefing you on your mission parameters. The Metamorphosis is currently in orbit around Samsa 6. 10 years ago, the company detected signs of biochemistry on the planet below and sent a team to investigate. They arrived a year ago. Upon arrival, the team discovered organic life on Samsa 6, an arthropod, whatever that is, that the researchers nicknamed Karks. 6 months ago, contact with Greta Base and the nearby Heron terraforming station was lost. Your ship has been hired to address the situation, and as the nearest company representative, I was sent along to monitor and advise and ensure that the company's interests are protected. Your CO has selected the 6 of you for this mission. The job is for you all to rendezvous with 2nd Lieutenant Kaplan at Greta Base and assist them in repairing the lines of communication, re-establish satellite connection, and get the terraformer back online. Should the mission go tits up, your orders are to evacuate the mission specialist, Dr. Edom, and the company's synthetic science officer, Hinton. Any questions?
It doesn't seem like they planned for it to go tits up. They only have looking around at the six of us. I'm the only military one, so this should be just a grab, right? There ain't no smashing involved.
Ideally, this will be a simple matter of re-establishing connection in person and assisting in repairing whatever has broken down at Greta Base and the terraforming station. In all likelihood, the satellites. Any
detail
other questions?
Why am I awake? I'm not supposed to be awake. I'm supposed to sleep.
That would be something for you to take up with your CO. I am not in charge of your assignments. I am here to represent the company's interests. You have been selected, and you will do the job. Otherwise, your ship will lose its commission. Any other questions? Wonderful! The transport is fueled and ready for you to drop. The company has provided you all with additional equipment. It is waiting for you on the table by the door. Suit up and get ready to drop planetside in the next 20 minutes.
They just wake us up. We don't even get to have lunch. We just go straight to drop. I love corpo jobs. They don't. Isn't that right, old timer? They never waste a penny, not even on a meal.
Cheap as possible. You know how they do it.
Cheap as possible. Golly, bunch of misers. For all the money they have, you'd think they'd let us at least have lunch. Bunch of money-grubbing idiots.
By the door,
Anyway.
on the table, there are 6 identical kits set out, one for each one of you. There is a submachine gun with 3 magazines of ammo, a first aid kit, and a stim pack, one of each for each one of you. Is there anything last minute in your quarters or anything like that that anyone would go grab before heading to the shuttle?
I am grabbing my cigarettes.
Hey, tweaker. Hey, buddy.
Yes, sir.
You know how they don't let us have anything fun on these trips. You wouldn't happen to have, I don't know, any cigars or anything like that. I know you got cigarettes. You got anything else?
I might. If you give me a minute, if it could, do you know how to use this? I'm just gonna hold up the gun and just like look down the barrel.
I immediately palm it away from his face.
And David's eyes just go wide, looking like, kid, what the world is... Where'd they get you from? This can't be the future of engineering in this company.
Oh, that's 100% of the future of this company. You're looking at the smart ones. Guarantee this one's a smart one. Yeah, you don't point the whole end at your face. That's generally not something you do. Anyways, I'll teach you how to use this. If you get, you know what, just give me some of your cigarettes. That'd be fine. Wait a minute, are they special cigarettes?
I'm already down the hallway. Just panic run. I drop like magazines are dropped on the ground as I'm trying to like shove them in my pocket. It's just a panicked little fucking
I have picked up both his submachine gun and all of his. You know what? I'll just put these in my little. Just
David, I saw your hand.
I'll take care.
You know what? I am totally fine with that. Take 2 of my magazines and I'll just
I'll give them back. We'll wait till we hit the ground. We'll wait till we hit the ground. I'll give these back to him.
So, quick inventory question there. Like you said, want to grab anything from our quarters? I'm assuming this is where we would grab the loadout equipment from character creation. We would grab that at least.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't want to make sure I didn't have to say I go back and grab
No,
stuff.
you are assumed to have grabbed your standard kit and all of that. Just seeing if there were any last-minute character things anyone wanted to do. If not, then the camera then cuts to all of you on board the dropship as it is getting ready to take off. The exterior doors shut, engines fire up. And you all exit in the dropship from the bay doors. You all know the two pilots who are currently operating this dropship. There's Anders and Renfield. Anders, those of you who've been around the company, or not the company, excuse me, on the Metamorphosis for a while, you know Anders. He's experienced. He's been around for a bit. Renfield joined a few missions back and does not shut up. Just constantly chewing gum and chatting. So as you all are in the transport section of the dropship, you can just hear Renfield up front. Yeah, so got us going on another one. Hey, what you think about this one, Anders? Anders, did you bring my gum? Just constant chatter. Eventually, you all start to feel the shake of the ship as it enters orbit. The inside here smells of metal and body odor and cheap MREs. And as the shaking of the ship intensifies, the sound of a repeating alarm can be heard from the front of the ship. Anders shouts back into the transport area. Going through some tough weather, everybody hang on to something. And I need all of you to make our first roll of the game, and that is a fear save. Just a reminder how this works. You're going to roll a D100 and try to roll below your fear save number. If anyone has a skill that they're trained in that they think would apply to this, now's your time to say it.
I think military training being on. Well, you don't know. I'm for characters. He doesn't like transport ships. So I'm going to take that away from him. He doesn't like transport ships particularly.
That's totally fair. For what it's worth, I would accept military training as a additional skill here.
Well, he makes it anyway.
Jolly, I cannot hear you.
How about now?
There you go.
Could I make the case for 0G?
Make the case.
Okay, so I figure with 0G, that means he has spent a fair amount of time in drop ships, up in the air. He's been doing mechanical repair all over on stations, on ships, on platforms, and everything like that. I would like to think that I'm grizzled enough that I have an idea of how to handle turbulence.
You know what? I love that justification. Go ahead and add it.
I was going to ask to make the same.
If it works for one, it'll work for another here. So, any other skill justifications? If not, let me know whether you succeeded or passed.
I succeeded, but barely, and he's not about this. I know you guys. I'm just letting you guys know I don't like transport ships. They're built as cheaply as possible, and oh God, I like boots on the ground. Boots on the ground.
Did anyone fail? No failure. Oh, yep.
We're rolling under our fear save. Okay, yeah, I'm good.
And just to also be further clear, if you equal your number, that is still a failure. You have to roll below it. And just a reminder, if you roll doubles on your dice, 11, 12, or not 12, 11, 22, 33, that type of thing, that is a critical. And if you succeeded the roll, it's a critical success. If you failed the roll, critical failure. But no failures here. No,
I failed.
Okay. Well, in that case, Wiz, as you fail this fear save, first of all, take one stress. And how do we see as viewers the failed fear save and the added stress on Wiz here?
Oh, you see this little fucking spiked hair kid. He's got little studs in his ears now. He's like I described it earlier, but it was the movie Hackers from the '90s. Like he's trying to put on that front of just like yeah, but he's not having a good time. He's got the cigarette and he's just trying to light it as we're going down, and it's just not working. He's just like, we're not gonna make it. We're done. We're done.
As he's shouting this, Anders just from the cockpit, shut up, newbie. Gonna be fine. And you feel as you break fully into, as you finish pushing fully into the planet's atmosphere, and like they said, there is a inclement weather, and you can start to hear the wind and the rain beating on the dropship as it begins to land. As it sets down, the ramp at the rear of the dropship opens, and Renfield turns around. All right, everybody, that's your ride. Call us when you're ready for us to come get you. Have fun! As you all start to exit the dropship, the landing zone that you all have been dropped into, it's a modular prefab base. The area where you're dropped is choked with tumorous vines, scarred by rain, and it appears completely deserted. 100 feet away, you can see Greta Base, another prefab but much larger planetary base. There are heavy rains pouring down that reduce visibility, and even as you start to step away from the dropship and it starts to lift off, as Anders sends one more message to both you and the Metamorphosis, it's a little garbled over your individual radios just from the weather. The mud here is thick, sucks at your boots. What do you all do?
Yeah, this seems like it's going to be a more complicated job than they let on. It feels like there should be more Marines than us.
Or at least more pay.
Yeah, I definitely agree. No, I mean, any job can need more pay. Anybody else getting a weird feeling that there should have been, I don't know, at least one person that showed up and told us, hey, where are we going? Here's where stuff is. You know, the meet and greet.
Kinda. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of hung up on them glossing over this arthropod thing they discovered. You know, I'm very interested in that.
Leave it to an egghead to overlook the obvious dangerous situation.
I'm gonna walk up to each person and shakily hand them a cigarette. One to the Marine that asked, one to Mr. Freeman.
I turn it down.
You pull out these cigarettes and they are instantly doused because, like I said, heavy downpour, just gray. And the area where you're landed is surrounded by, aside from the base in front of you and this landing area, the planet around you is heavy, dense jungle. The sound of the rain on puddles and leaves and metal of the base, outside of you all talking, is the only thing you hear.
I still a little freaked out, trying to hand one to Reese.
No. Thanks.
We'll walk over to the scientist.
Buddy, I don't know if you know this, but fire and water don't mix.
And for the last person, just try one more time.
I will literally take all the cigarettes they have turned out as I'm currently smoking one, and no one saw how he lit it.
Years of experience.
Years.
Charles, what about you? What are you up to as you have exited the transport and seen all of this?
Well, I'm just looking through the trees. I'm interested in The rain is kind of bumming me out. I wanna get to know this place a little bit better. You know, I'm almost like a tourist, but a timid tourist.
You stare out into the trees a little bit, and like I said, it's very hard to see too far right now. It's dark, and heavy rains, heavy foliage. But as you stare into the surrounding jungle, you get the uncomfortable but unmistakable sensation that you're being watched.
What is it? You got a weird look on your face.
There's something I don't think I should check out, but I'm tempted to see. I think there's maybe something in these trees. I personally think it might be worth investigating. That being said, I'm curious about the life on this planet. But that's
my. I'd very much like to see what's following us.
I think the Marine should help because I'm not a good shot.
I just love this sounds like a great idea. You go first.
I know what my job is here. I know what it is. But what about you, old timer? Check the base, check the woods. What do you want to do?
Well, I wouldn't be much good in the woods myself. I'm interested in trying to get these comms going up, but I'm still wondering what in the world could have happened. This is a pretty big fancy operation.
It is not a single person, not a soul inside.
Not a soul in sight. They gotta have more than enough equipment here to have restored communications, but they didn't. What in the world happened here? But
and there are no lights on
in the woods
here either.
And there's no power's out. Okay.
Well, that
the first things we see that the lights are out. Okay. So, yeah, this is really weird. There's more going on here than what we were told. Look, I'm no scientist, and I actually look over to the scientist, but he's got a point. The creature was discovered, and they didn't give him any information on it. Like, you'd think they would tell him what was found, even if it was just a little bit.
Yeah, and not knowing what kind of wildlife is on this planet, I mean,
yeah,
all sorts of stuff could have triggered anything. We have no clue what's going on as far as what
I say we go into the base and see if there's any records, find out what we're dealing with. I like a little intel with my intel. So I say we go on the base first, and then we'll strike out into the woods that we feel confident. But I feel real naked standing out here in the middle of nothing.
All right, I'm willing to check through some records, do a little digging, and see what I can figure out from that.
Reese, what were you doing during this conversation?
Reese was just curiously staring at all the humans that just seemed to be completely content to be getting drenched in the rain, and just kind of staring at them with just this weird, like, I don't understand them. They want to walk to danger, but there's maybe safety there. Humans are weird.
Well, as you all start to head towards the base itself, anyone who looks down and investigates the ground at all, you notice that there are deep tread tracks that lead towards the airlock that you are heading towards. But you also notice that there's a fork in the trail where a smaller path seems to head around back of the base. So there's a path that heads to the front door and a path that heads to the back door, and you notice both of those.
I would definitely notice due to wildlife training.
Totally fair. So do we go to the front door or the back? Or do we split?
The back door.
Split the party.
No, don't split. Not yet.
No. So we all go the same direction, whichever.
I say we go to the back door.
I'm still enthralled with the woods, but if I had to choose, the back door.
I'm wondering about the back door because how'd they get split up? Did somebody get locked out? Let's see what's over there.
All right. You all start trudging through this mud, and like I said, it is thick, and you're just having to like pull your feet out every single time. Running in this mud feels like it would be impossible. As you follow the path leading around Greta Base. It's a decent-sized facility, enough to house an operation of a couple dozen people easily. When you arrive at the back, you see, one, that the path leads to a roll-up garage-style door. You also notice there are numerous piles of mud out here. Not just like little sections where the mud is a little bit higher, maybe just natural, unevenness of the terrain, but piles. Looks more deliberate, or at least more sizable than just something that would happen incidentally.
Are they human shaped? Like, are they like 6 foot in general length?
No. There are 2 of them, and they're closer to like 2.5 or 3 feet each.
Do they smell?
Well, if you walk up to get a little bit closer to them to see what's going on with this, the rain washing a little bit of the mud off of these piles, you recognize, at least the first one you approach, as the lower half of a person. Legs. Up to about belly button.
So burials.
Maybe.
Well, you boys ain't gonna like what I found. This whole mission is a lot higher pay grade. These are burials, seemingly. Half a body, something tore these poor bastards in half. Do I see? I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to take my pocket knife, and I'm going to try to uncover to see if I can see the nature of the wound. Like, does it look like ripping? Does it look like it was torn?
No problem.
But I don't want to get my hand in it.
Yeah, totally. Using tools at your disposal to clear off some of the mud and move this lower half of the corpse so that you can see what happened. It looks like this individual was not surgically, but pretty cleanly bisected. There are spilled entrails that are here. They've lost their red coloration by this point. But definitely something cut this in half. And you have military training, yeah? I would say because of that, you are able to identify that this was not from explosives. You don't see any scorch marks or anything like that. It's a little too clean for explosives, and it's a little too jagged for surgical or laser cut. So something sharp cut this poor soul in half.
Hey, one of you science boys.
What are we looking at?
I've never seen a wound like this before. Ain't explosives. Wasn't ripped in half. It's not clean enough to be surgical, but it's not precise enough to be, I'm not gonna lie, Egghead, I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at.
Well, I can't say that I've seen any sort of animals that would be big enough and powerful enough to cause this kind of force to cut a man in half. This is so confounding, honestly.
What about you?
Really quick.
What about you, robot?
Really quick,
What's your
just
2
one
cents on
thing
this?
for you,
Go for it.
Sam, Mr. Carpenter. You have medical training, at least to some basic degree. It's not your area of specialty, but you had to take courses. You studied.
Mm-hmm.
And there is just an instinct as you're over here investigating this. You just look over at the other pile. And you can see the faint gleam of a dog tag in that other pile. When you go over and inspect it, you can see that... Oh. No, go ahead.
Actually.
Oh, hey, there, yeah. As you lift this from the mud without uncovering any more of what is under here, you wipe the mud off of the dog tags that read PFC Olson.
It's Private First Class Olson. It's military for sure. What do you think about this, Marine?
Is that one of the ones we're looking for? I don't think so. He would have been the first one if something went down to be in the thick of it. But I don't. I'm looking around. Is the building itself look damaged? Is there any? Can I see in any eyesight around me any damage whatsoever?
Not from out here. There isn't any obvious damage. But
Hey,
it is
robot.
also very hard to see out here right now.
So I look at the two bodies that are there in the mud, and I look over at scientists. Is there any way to tell about how long ago that cut happened?
Well, from the just coagulation of the blood and everything based on this planet's atmosphere and all the rain and stuff, it should be really decomposed if it's been here longer than a week, but it's only just showing starting signs, so maybe a couple days.
That's interesting. We lost communication 6 months ago, but this might have happened as recently as a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's alarming for sure.
And I believe, Holloway, you were saying something to one of the androids at some point.
I was like, hey, robot. What's your 2 cents on this?
Which one?
Oh, there's 2 of you.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot we had 2. My bad. It's my problem. I'm still getting used to your kind.
Both Charles and
I'll-
Reese are both androids.
Reese. Right? That's your name? What's your name? What's your 2 cents on this? You can be objective. What do you think we're looking at?
Well, killed, obviously. Less
But why buried? Does that mean that there was...
buried or dumped.
I also think at this point, Charles and Reese, with the 2 of you being collectively summoned, as this conversation is happening, Charles, you walk over to the pile that wasn't as unearthed, the one with the dog tags that were found by Carpenter. And you just slough some of the mud off of it, and it is the top half of a body.
Oh, I found something.
Well,
I
would you say these 2 pieces match?
Just like you're putting them together.
Yeah. And
Is it the same guy?
we can try to fit this. Yeah.
I would say it is a very, very reasonable conclusion based off of size, where the cut is on both upper and lower half. This is one body.
Looks like the rest of Olsen then.
That makes this more confusing whatsoever.
Yeah,
I
why
think
wouldn't
we're
they
in di-
bury the parts together, right?
Yep. If it were human, they would have buried them together, meaning that it must not have been something with human sensibilities. Meaning, if this is an animal, it might have been buried food.
I can
Storage for later.
certainly see that. Yes, that is something that could be very plausible with this. But it seems like if it was saving the top half for later, then it must have been working on this bottom half because it's just lying out, right?
It's just lying there. There's no
Yeah.
sign that you see on here of feeding.
Okay.
Perhaps it was just angry.
I'm gonna look for something specific,
Okay.
Fair.
and I'm gonna tell the old timer. There's a certain kind of, I think it's a wasp or a hornet, and it'll paralyze a tarantula, then put its babies inside the body of the tarantula, and the babies will hatch and eat their way out
Yeah.
of the tarantula.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look for a puncture wound.
I'm going to say
I'm puking by a tree.
that because of the conditions out here, looking for something that small, the conditions of the body, the mud, you don't see anything that looks like a puncture wound.
This shit's messy. I
That
can't
doesn't
see
mean your theory is wrong. It just means right now, out here in these conditions, you aren't able to conduct a thorough enough investigation. Perhaps if the body parts were brought into a more secured, less rainy environment, you might be able to.
You said, is there a garage around here?
There's a
Like,
roll-up
you said-
door, that like a garage-style door right here. There was also the front entryway airlock that you saw when you all first landed. Those are two modes of entry that you have found so far.
All right, two, you keep your eyes on this body. I don't. Something. I don't
I'll
like
I'll
it.
volunteer.
Yeah. Well, if
I'll
we could
watch
get
the
it
bottom.
inside, I could take a better look at it. So let's work on.
I don't
getting
know
back
if I don't know if we want to be all that close to this thing. Old timer, let's get this garage door open. What do you think?
Agreed. I head over the garage door and start looking for like controls, the opening mechanism, or
Cool. As you were heading over there, really quick, Jack, I heard you saying something there. I just wanted to make sure you got to finish your thought.
Oh, I thought someone said, I thought the Marine said to watch the body, and I volunteered to watch the body.
So Charles hangs out just by these two halves of Private First Class Olson. And
As I'm walking away, I over my shoulder be like, "Oh, and what I meant by that is point your gun at it."
Can do.
it's a fair distinction. And David, as you head over and you start looking at the garage door, it looks like it's manually opened, or it could be manually opened. There is a keypad over to the side of it, but it is currently dark.
all right. There's probably as a keypad control, probably punching a code or whatever, but pad's out right now with no power. That's not going to work. We're going to get this thing open. We're probably going to have to force it open, but there's a
Should
problem.
default to analog, right?
If there is any analog control on this, possibly, but this thing is definitely gonna make noise, and I don't think the rain's gonna suppress the noise of opening this door. That's gonna be a
Fair.
problem.
Fair point. Just don't want to. I don't want to bring that body into the building and have something we don't know about come out of it, and then we got to shoot and then infect somebody. I don't. You know how I don't
I
like
agree.
I don't like any bit of this.
But if we're gonna enter this building, we need to be careful.
Reese?
overhearing their conversations, is there any kind of cables or wiring in the surrounding area that might point towards where like the generator or power system might be, even if it's like an auxiliary one?
Looking around, no, which leads you to a conclusion, and that is that if there's a backup generator, it is likely within the facility itself, which would track from a facility that you want to be able to be entirely, hermetically sealed, self-sufficient. You don't want to have to leave the facility to get backup power. So possibly inside. So, we have two possible entryways that we've found right now. Which are we going to try to get in through? Or some other thing entirely?
Yeah, would we have any luck at the front with the doors up there? I mean, we haven't checked those out. We went back straight here. And if these are out of power or too noisy, it might make sense to check out the front.
You might be right. I just don't. Yeah, you're right. You're probably right, Egghead. All right. I have my gun out, by the way. We're leaving that body there. We ain't taking it with us. That's just asking for trouble.
All right. I guess I won't be studying that then.
I mean, we could come to the back, get the garage door up, and bring it in, but hey, what do you think, Egghead? Let me talk to you straight. Is there more than one scientist? Excuse me. Sidebar.
One Marine, one scientist.
Yep.
All right. Here's what I think, Egghead. And Android, since you're objective about this, you can weigh in on this one. I think that there's eggs inside those bodies, bisected by something obviously not human, left out here. Like, I think there's some inside that body. If we bring it with us,
I can appreciate that theory, but my background is in zoology, and if we had something that was carrying eggs, we would have a lot of signs of those eggs being in there from just the surface. I don't think that's the exact thing that's going on here, but it could be a creature that did cut him in half. So I think just prioritize getting inside, because I don't want to be outside with whatever did that.
And you are getting soaked. I will also say that, Charles, as you're standing here, listening to the humans have this conversation, that feeling hasn't left you. Even as you walked around the opposite side of this facility. And the surrounding jungle just feels oppressively close. So
I think that animal that you're talking about, it might be nearby. I don't know. There's still that feeling of eyes looking at me. Maybe we do go inside.
Yeah, let's get inside. I think we've been out way too on the radio. Yep, I agree. Let's go to the front.
You all head back around to the front of this facility towards the airlock doors, and there's once again a terminal there. This one, though, is flickering with power. So it just occasionally has flashes of, the terminal actually lighting up, which gives you all the idea that there is still some power flowing through this facility. But as you approach the door and try to punch in a code, try to tap it to admit entry, the airlock door is locked. Now, this is our first time playing this, so I'm going to let you know. You have a few options here at your disposal, depending on the skills and equipment you all have. Just like the garage door, you can try to physically force it. You can try to hack it. You can try to jury rig it. if you have a creative or if you have an idea for how to get through the locked door. A locked door is not the end. It's just a challenge.
Door's locked. Back in the ship. Go home.
Cool. All right. Thank you all very much for joining. This has been Mothership, and everyone survived.
Yep.
Fuck.
Wow.
Wow.
Worst horror movie ever.
It's one of those
they
like the
actually
ones that
turn
just go
around.
straight to credits 10
Practical.
minutes in.
Yeah.
The most believable one ever written. Like, they have actual
Just full of,
sensibilities.
yeah.
Like, you know what? This sucks. Nope, I'm out.
It's not worth the
Dead
money.
bodies, locked door. Old man said go home. We're going to go home.
Yeah, we're gonna go home. Anybody want to take a crack at this? This ain't exactly my
Yeah.
realm of expertise.
David, do you have any sort of ideas? Because, I mean, I can't hack this thing. It's got some power though. Something
Yeah.
with Jerry.
Yeah, I'm more of an old school engineer. Give me the mechanical, the physical, and stuff like that. But this computers, and I look towards fellow engineer.
And Charles, by the way, is
I-
just raising his hand patiently.
Yes,
No, I could-
Charles.
I have used a computer before. I could maybe take a crack at it.
Do you think you both could work together on this?
Goodbye.
Just get it.
I don't want to be outside anymore. I'm just kind of standing there just crazy, and I just pull out of my pack a detonator. Like,
Whoa. Whoa.
we could go inside with this. I can get us-
That would
As
definitely-
much as I like your enthusiasm, son, that is still a pressurized.
I also have the
Hey,
switch
one
for
thing I
it.
know-
and
I
can
see
flick
that.
it on and off.
I like.
What are you doing?
I take his thumb. I take his thumb and I grab it and like I'm keeping it from pressing. It's like, listen, I appreciate the enthusiasm.
Oh, you can click
son.
it all you want. It's not electronic.
Please stop clicking it. You're making us all. You're stressing us out. I'm not gonna lie. You're stressing me out.
Ed, I need you to stop clicking on that thing, please.
Stop.
As this is happening,
inside.
I need everyone who is not Wiz to make a fear save.
Oh. Oh.
Again,
That's not
if you have
intended.
military training, you can absolutely add that to this. Or if you have a
I'm
relevant skill, that you
100%.
think would
This is a moment. This is definitely a.
pass. Okay.
Got one.
Hey,
I
huge pass.
pass. I pass, but barely because it's a 41, but with 15, right? Or no, it's 10. It's 10 for trained skill. So that is 51. Actually, I fail.
Okay. You take a stress
No,
point
That's not what I meant.
as you are trying
55.
as you're trying to deal with this friggin' explosives junkie here. Apparently, you take a stress point.
And like you can feel my hands start to clamp down on your hands, and he's been in combat a long time. His grip is painful, like it is digging. It's like, listen, son, you're freaking me out. You're freaking me out, son.
Ow, ow.
You're freaking me out, and I need you.
my
I need you.
ow,
Look at me.
ow.
Look at me. Look at me. I need you to calm down. Okay.
I want to be inside.
I know.
Ooh, quick reminder though. Those of you who succeeded this, if you are not an android, because you are within close range of androids, you
Oh,
actually need to make
Jesus
that roll with disadvantage. So if you succeeded, roll again to see if you fail.
I'm so sorry, everybody. That was not intended.
I failed.
No, I love
It's
it.
the style of the game.
BRP,
Fail.
No mid maxing.
Take a stress
no
point.
mid maxing.
Fuck.
So now we have that Dan
Oh
Carpenter
no!
failed.
There's more. There's more.
No,
They
no.
all have to make another fear
No,
save.
you haven't panicked. Failing a fear.
okay.
You haven't panicked yet. You haven't panicked yet.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But so Dan Carpenter, you failed. Holloway, you failed. Anyone else fail upon having to do the reroll?
Oh, I failed the initial. Like,
Oh, you failed the initial one?
Failed.
Okay.
I
yeah.
failed the initial by 1.
So, 4 people take stress points here. from just this situation? Because that sounds stressful to me. I don't know if someone pulled out some C4 and was like, "No, I can click it." That I would probably. Hey, whoa. Stress doesn't mean like it's the end of the world. You have up to 20 stress points. You're just now 1/20th more stressed.
All right. Everybody calm down. You two smart ones, you there? I'm not going to call you robot. That feels offensive. What's your name again, son?
Charles.
Charles? Old-timer? I want you to, or whoever else was going to do this, take a crack at that door if you would, and I'm going to help our little friend here put his bombs away.
I do think the C4 would help me, but I can try. I can try without it.
You see.
Who has the hacking, by the way?
I only have
Oh,
computer.
you're the one. Reese is the one with the hacking.
Computers could also work. Hacking could work. So whoever is taking charge of this to try to open the door, let me know what skill you're going to use, and then make your roll. Yeah, Charles, what were you going to use?
I'll use my skills that kills at computers, and
Perfect.
let's see what happens.
So
Can we
just
do assisting in this?
there is no assist mechanism in the game, but I will say with two of you aiding, you can roll that with advantage, Charles. So roll the D100 twice and take the lower result. I will also, just quick reminder, let me know anytime you critically fail. So that is failing the roll and rolling a double result, like 77, 88. And anything in the 90s is always a fail, just a reminder. Did you critically?
I rolled a 55.
To fail?
To fail.
Fantastic. Y'all, we're going to make our first panic check. And luckily, this is very hard at this point for you to fail the panic check. So here's how panic checks work, everybody. How many stress points do you currently have, Holloway? 3. So roll me a d20. If you roll a 3, a 2, or a 1, you will have a panic effect. If you roll anything else, you won't.
I rolled this 18.
You are fine. So, you do not panic. You're a little stressed, but you've dealt with explosives and you've dealt with jumpy people. Now, that dealt with. Charles, what did you get on your computer's check here?
No. Hold on. Okay. Pick the lower one, you said?
Lower, yeah.
67.
Whew, what was your first one?
89.
Damn. But what is your computer score?
My computer score?
Because that's what we compare it to see whether it's a success or a failure.
Oh, that's right.
So it'll be your, this will be your computer. All right, so let me just look this up for you really quick. And for myself. Computers are a trained skill, so that is a 10 bonus. And what is your intellect?
Oh, my intellect. My intellect's off the charts. 39.
39 plus 10. So that's a 49 is what you had to roll under, and unfortunately you rolled above that. However, the doors do start to... They just crack open an inch or so. And go ahead.
Forgot that I have plus 20 on my intelligence.
Oh, so it's even higher than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's actually a 59, but it's still too low.
Well, no. Because your intellect is a 59. Add 10 on top of that from the trained skill, 69. Nice. And you rolled under that. So as you go up there and you get to work a little bit here on the terminal and manage to get it to listen, the airlock doors open. What you see inside here is, as the Marine is already pointing the gun with the flashlight looking in, is an airlock. What you would expect. Muddy floors, storage lockers lining the walls. And about 40 feet or so at the end of the airlock, another similar door.
I'm obviously taking point and prioritizing just keeping any like what would be like considered like a tactical hiding spot, like where would this, like I'm just pointing my gun at everything, not really relaxing somewhat because I'm still kind of hyped up off of Tweaker C4. Like, and I'm heading towards the other door while I assume everybody behind me is sort of investigating the other things in the room.
While he's doing that, I actually go over to, Charles, the android that hacked the door open, and I ask him, can we close this door? Don't lock it in case we need to make a quick escape. Can we close it back at least?
I can certainly try.
Yeah, no, and great question, and no problem, because once everyone is entered, Charles, you just flip around to the opposite adjoining terminal on the other side, plug in, and very quickly the airlock door shuts. Now, with flashlights that have been used by a few of you going in here, you all are able to see that the lockers lining the walls here, a few of them have deep indentations, as if from impact. And one of them has a large scar across it.
Well, it looks like we found another little bit of evidence for our bisecting arachnid, or arachnid, or whatever it was that he said.
Yeah, whatever is strong enough and powerful enough to cut through a locker like that would definitely could take a body in half, no problem. Big.
It's big. But question is, how did it... I'm looking, so I'm still on alert, but I'm looking at the walls. Does the walls look like any damage has been made to the walls?
Little
like
bit.
Something big trying to pass through it?
No, nothing like it's tried to be cut through, but there are places of the wall here that have barely noticeable dents in them, which does track if it's the same thing impacting the lockers. Lockers are made out of much thinner metal than, prefab based walls that are incredibly thick and heavy. But there are small little imperfections through here. And as you're looking at that, Holloway, and you've been walking towards the opposite door, once Charles gets the first airlock door open, once Charles gets the first airlock door closed, the opposite door opens. And we're going to take a quick bathroom break, and we will pick up there.
I needed one.
Yeah, I kind of
needed
figured
one.
people might. So we will be right back, y'all. Don't go anywhere.
You read my mind.
We are now inside Greta Base. Let's see what happens. Be back soon. She's got that off screen right in time.
What are the GTA 5 was that?
You couldn't
Right
have
in
timed that
time.
better.
Okay, now
Not that before GTA 6.
let me fix one thing on the soundboard really quick.
Really good at tomfoolery.
Now, the door from the airlock leading into Greta Base opens. And what you see inside as Holloway leaves, the flashlight from his gun illuminating this room, the lights in here are flickering. So you all get a jerky, haphazard awareness of your surroundings. The scene that greets you all is one of chaos and violence frozen in time. This room is a mess hall, clearly. The lights erratically flicking on and off. There's a torn banner that droops from the ceiling that reads, "Happy Birthday, Olsen." The air in here is thick with the smell of damp and rot. And you can hear the slow drip of water from the ceiling. The room itself is a graveyard of broken dishes and shattered glass. There's a table overturned and chairs scattered around the room like fallen soldiers. Bullet casings glisten and gleam here and there. You can see a birthday cake that has been splattered on the floor and mixed with drops and streaks of blood. Against a door to the left as you walk in here, there is a barricade of furniture, couches, tables, chairs, clearly hastily shoved against the door. But it's the sight in the center of the room that chills every one of you to the bone as Holloway's flashlight lands and lingers on a woman's severed head. Neck torn and ragged, eyes staring blankly into nothingness. And upon seeing that, I need everyone to make a fear save.
Fail.
Okay. Stress. Carpenter failed. Any other fails?
Fail.
Fail. From
I
David?
succeed.
Success.
Success.
Success. All right. If it was Carpenter and David who failed, I'm going to again ask you, just like I asked Wiz, how, to us as viewers, who are able to get in nice and close and see you in this moment, how does your fear response here manifest, your stress? Let's start with, Sam.
Yeah, even out of just coming out of the cold and wet, you can see that I'm starting to pour sweat, goosebumps, and starting to get a little bit of a shake from adrenaline.
David?
So he was able to look around the rest of the room just fine, but then he saw the severed head and it just flashed him back to a very unpleasant memory. And he just goes wide-eyed and he is literally trembling with fear. Like if somebody touched him, they would feel the vibration of him trembling in fear. Just staring at her head.
Holloway is going to reach back. Holloway side eyes, and he's going to reach back and grab the old timer's shoulder and just clench it. You're all right, buddy. You're all right, buddy. You're all right.
All right. We need to figure what the hell happened here.
No, we need to get in touch. We need to get in touch with the boat.
I look at that banner, and I'm still like, do we have enough information to know when this guy's birthday was?
Are you asking me or asking each other?
Or I guess
is that a DM question or in character?
In character.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Do we know when Olsen's birthday was?
Figure it out. Listen to me, boy. Listen to me. Listen to me. We need to get in touch with the boat. We are severely outmanned and outgunned. You look around here, there's a lot of bullet casings going on. They had much more men, much more firepower than we have. And we are out of our depth. We need to get in touch with the boat. We need reinforcements. This is a much bigger job than the 6 of us?
He's right. You're right. Okay. Is there anything in this room that resembles communication equipment?
As you look around this room more, you don't see anything that is communications focused, but that makes sense. This is not the entirety of the facility, it's just the mess hall. There wouldn't be much need for that here. But looking around, especially because you said you were looking up towards the banner, you also do notice that dripping sound. It shouldn't be happening. The intent of these bases is to be sealed from the outside. That's why there's an airlock. And those are clearly bullet holes that the water is dripping in from. I did see Wiz's hand.
Oh, mine was a simple. I failed as well, just peeking in the corner.
Okay.
And
you're just
Reese's hands up. Yeah, just in the corner.
Okay.
Can I roll mathematics to see if I remember an android that's good with numbers? I might have studied other crew members or other things. Can I see if it's a random number that's stuck in my brain for the birthday?
I don't think you were at any point provided birth dates and names of the crew members here. Now, you might be able to locate a roster that might have that information in the computer system or files, but that wasn't a part of the information that the company thought was relevant to provide for this mission.
If anybody's asking, we can pretty much extrapolate that it's probably within the last week. If the body's not far enough into decomposition for it to have been a week, that means the boy's birthday had to have been within the last week, because it looks like the attack happened around his birthday, or at least he possibly even had his birthday. So it's not usually company protocol to keep up decorations for longer than the day of his birthday, so we can probably assume through logic that the attack happened on his birthday. So, within the last week.
You all have been fairly quiet since you've come in here. It's not like you're shouting this conversation.
No.
And so you notice a few other things. First of all, like I said, there's a barricade against a door to the left. You also notice a door straight ahead to the north, and to the right there's a small kitchenette that seems to lead back into maybe a pantry or a freezer or something like that. You also hear this quiet, dull thud sound. Oh, look at the puppy. Yeah, puppy wants to play. You hear this?
Is that what it says?
Yeah, that's what.
Yes.
All right, look, I got distracted by a very cute dog on stream. I'm human.
We're being taunted by this thing.
I'm human. But
The only thing that survives was the dogs.
I mean, that'd be a good world. But you hear from the northwest-ish. Hard to tell because the sound is coming from not within this room. But you hear this every few seconds. This distant, dull thud. It's not loud. If you all have been talking even a little bit louder, you might have missed it.
Did anybody catch that?
Is it staying at the same volume level, or is it getting closer?
Yeah.
Or
Was it just
farther? Is it
one or
moving?
multiple?
You listen. Thump. 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 It doesn't seem to be moving. Getting closer, quieter, louder.
Does it almost sound equipment related, like a piece of equipment trying to kickstart itself over? Something we would,
Interesting.
engineer-wise, we would be familiar with?
Interesting. I would say that it is a little too quiet by your estimation for the sound of something trying to kick on. Maybe it's farther away than you think. That could also fit. But as you listen and you are very attuned to mechanics and machinery, it isn't a perfect repeating pattern. It isn't like every 2.3 seconds precisely. It does happen every few seconds, but there is enough variation as you just take a second and go 1, 2, 3, thud. 1, 2, thud. You would expect a little bit more clockwork precision were it mechanical.
All right, old timer. All right, boys, girls. We are in the shit of it now. And I think priority one is we need comms, we need backup, and this is a much bigger job than the rest of us. Now, as far as the layout of this base, I have to be honest, it's a little outside my realm of expertise. But I do believe we need to keep barrels up, if you understand my meaning.
I will say, you all, as part of your mission briefing, were also provided with you were shown the general layout of Greta Base, which is simple because it's a basic square, and everything is largely divided into square sections. And according to your recollections, the northwest direction is either, if you're remembering correctly, either the armory or the garage. You do also know that there is a command center, a med bay, and a crew habitat as different sections of Greta Base.
Would military background, would I know command base is most likely where comms is?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. I say honestly, my instinct is make a way to the armory, get as much, God-fearing gunpowder that we can get, and then make our way to command.
God-fearing gunpowder is one of my favorite phrases of the night.
Well, that's my instinct. If anybody's got a better suggestion, at this point, I'm all ears.
Okay. Thinking back to him mentioning firepower again, earlier he had commented about how there were a lot more people and a lot more firepower in this room that failed against whatever. Are there any leftover weapons, something that we might be able to scavenge, or at least get an idea of what kind of weapons are in this room? Of what was used against it that seems to have failed?
There are no weapons in here that you can find, but there are bullet casings and bullet holes. Likely small arms and smaller machine gun fire, not unlike the SMGs that you were issued by the company. There are a few that are a little bit bigger, might have been higher caliber. But the only remnants here of those are the casings and the wounds in the ceiling and wall that they left behind.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking, old-timer. I know this looks bad, but we have one advantage they didn't. We know it's here. This is obviously they were taken by surprise. It is very obvious that this was not planned for. They would have had bigger guns, bigger weapons going forward. I'm only seeing small firearms, so we know that this happened suddenly and aggressively.
Agreed.
So we do have that advantage.
So that means we probably got a chance if we encounter this thing, if we can get our hands on something a little bit bigger. might
We'll
stand a chance
concentrate on
against
it.
it.
If we can counter it early, we'll at least have the advantage of concentrating on it.
So should we
God.
go? Should we go to the armory first or the command center? See what we can get out of the armory. See if we can get something bigger.
I'm gonna leave that to the group. What do you all think?
The layout, the armory is on the way to the command center. We can swing by and pick up what we need from there. More needed.
And I do have a quick
Yeah,
question. As this
What's that?
conversation is happening, was anyone else looking at or inspecting anything else in particular in the room? Reese.
Were there or are there any like vents, whether they be like on floor
Great
level
question.
or up above us?
Yes, there is a vent in the ceiling here. Actually, let me check. Yeah, there are vents, or one vent here in the ceiling. As you're looking around for that, I will also say that because you were looking up, you trip on more than notice at first. A human arm protruding from underneath the overturned table.
And Reese is just kind of gonna stand back up, toe it with their boot, kind of out of the way. Watch your step and go over to the vent to look. Has it been tampered with? Does it look like there's any kind of markings on it? Anything odd, even if it's even just strange gas smells?
No, not in this one.
Okay.
Charles, what are you up to? That's right, I'm going to keep calling on you if you're not speaking up. I've been a teacher.
No. I just had to switch my microphone.
I know how to find the
I'm
quiet
just-
kid.
I'm just examining the room, looking at the wounds, seeing if there's any commonalities to the ones that we saw with the original body.
Oh, so you're looking at the body, or going over and inspecting the arm or the head?
I guess the arm.
Cool.
I wrote really both. I mean,
Also,
taking a look.
I also think that was probably the first time ever that Jack was called the quiet kid in class.
You'd be surprised.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, hey, actors,
Yeah.
man. Y'all can put it on stage and then just go sit quietly on a couch for 8 hours and not talk to anyone. But as you go inspect the arm, like I said, it's protruding from underneath the overturned table, so you have to lift the table off, which is no problem. And you see a mostly intact body, missing a head. But because you were inspecting it to see if there were similar wounds, the tear around the neck looks kinda similar, but different because it's been inside as opposed to out in the elements. But that actually, horrifyingly enough, isn't what catches your attention about this body. Rather, it's two other features. One, in the neck. So the head has been removed above where the Adam's apple would be, were this individual someone had an Adam's apple. But down a few inches on the neck, there is a large hole. Maybe a puncture wound. But again, it's not actually that catches your attention most. This body is covered in what looked like paper cuts. Everywhere you look on the skin, there are dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of these small wounds. Holloway.
Obviously, him lifting a table is going to attract my attention. It attract anybody's attention in a room because it's something being moved. I'm going to, of course, wary-eyed around the room, going to leave the engineer, and I'm going to walk over to him, and I'm going to squat down next to his body and like, dear God.
And the body is face down at the moment.
Do these... what is Jack's character's name?
Charles.
Charles. Hey, Charles. Can you tell by looking at it, does those look like they went out or in?
That's a good question. I didn't even think of out. I'm gonna guess out.
Are you talking about, was the question specifically about the cuts?
The tiny paper cuts.
Kind of hard to say, honestly, Charles. They're not big enough to have, like, the exit wound or entry wound telltale signs. But I will say, that question prodded your curiosity just enough for you to flip the body over. The chest cavity is entirely hollowed out and visible. That is an exit wound. And there's no question about that.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That I wonder where all these little cuts came from. In that case, this is a dramatic.
If I had to guess, eating it, touching it, clawing it. I make a. You hear a. Like a high. Everybody in the room hears a high pitched, sort of like, not like loud, but like trying to attract attention to myself. All the bodies in this room possibly have something in them. Like I'm telling this to the entire group. Is like, be very cautious around any dead bodies.
And as all of you now get a look at that exploded out chest cavity, fear save. Remember, if you're within 30 feet or so of an android, which most of you are at this point, roll with disadvantage. Androids, you don't roll at disadvantage for being around other androids. Disadvantage, roll twice, take the lowest. Big fail. All right, that's another stress.
What would 000?
Major success, actually. That is
100
a
is a
0.
success?
So in Mothership, 000 is 0. There is no 100. So it swaps it to as successful as... Oh, disadvantage, yeah, so you have to take the higher one here.
All right, and failed again. Didn't even need the disadvantage.
Okay. Well, roll the disadvantage anyway, because it might be a critical failure. So even if you fail on the first disadvantage roll...
Are we just going to ignore the fact that bro...
Oh no, was it?
That bro just rolled a 100?
Well, that's
actually,
a critical...
no.
We will get back to the critical success.
I got a critical fail.
Oh no.
Okay.
You know what? It would have been a critical. I rolled a 22, but my first one was like an 89, so I...
Oh,
you know,
so that's
that would
not a
be-
critical failure. That's just a failure. Can't... I think you took your hand off.
Sorry,
Pushed it. You're
yeah.
good.
So 89 and 22, I used the 89 and I failed it.
Correct.
Okay.
And the 89 wasn't doubles, so it's not a critical failure. It's just a failure. Anyone who fails, you take a stress point. Wiz, you failed critically. So you take that stress point and then make a panic check. So roll a d20. What is your current stress level?
I am at 5 right
5. So if you roll a 5 or below, you panic.
now. This guy's not going to make it past the cafeteria.
Maybe.
So 5 or below, and I'm
5
done.
or below on a d20.
You can take it at advantage.
Why?
As a Teamster.
Oh, yes. That's true. Great shout.
I'm glad you did because I rolled a 5.
So you,
Yep. Teamsters, once per session. Advantage
Session.
on a panic check.
Ooh, I'll remember that.
If you roll 2 5s in a row,
As in, like, you rolled a 5?
I rolled a 5, used my Teamster perk to roll a panic again, and rolled another 5.
Well, then you get a 5.
So-
And your stress level was 5. You are going to gain a new condition. And it is called Coward. You must make a fear save.
Oh.
You must make a fear save to engage in violence. Otherwise, you flee. So make note of that somewhere. Because that is now yours.
This guy is useless.
He's good at other things. We all have our
fitting, though.
Him
All right, so,
discovering he's that character in the movie.
Yeah,
Oh no, I'm that one?
I'm that guy.
He is
no,
absolutely going to get
okay.
someone else killed.
Yeah. Coward, anytime we do violence.
Make a fear save or run. Success, you can fight. Fear save, you are trying to get out. So, that's not relevant yet. But upon seeing this horrifying cadaver, a few of you, it starts to manifest. And how does it manifest on you, Wiz, as you, for the first time of anyone, panic?
He's just gonna be sitting in the corner, just right next to it with just the gun then, and just be like, it's fine. We're gonna be back on the boat. This is fine. 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 And he's just gonna be cycling through that over and over. Like, this is, yeah.
Holloway?
Holloway is going to cross the room aggressively, take Wiz by the shoulder, gently slam him against the wall, reach into where I saw him pull his cigarettes from, put one in his mouth, and light it, and then just stare at him until he calms down. Huh?
His... And just in one drag, just that thing's gone.
And then he just pulls out another. puts
Yep.
it in his mouth.
For that,
Yeah.
for that, Corey, I'm going to give you something that it doesn't even exist in this game, but I'm going to give you inspiration. So one time tonight,
Hey.
you can re-roll a roll of your choice, but you have to take the second result.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I believe, Mr. Freeman, you also panicked, yes?
Oh,
Or not
yes, I
panicked.
did.
You
But I
failed your
failed
fear.
fear.
And that was also Mr. Carpenter who failed. How is it manifesting on the two of you right now? What's going on with you two?
I walk away very suddenly and just start pacing, talking to myself,
Perfect.
trying to just make some sense to myself.
And I, just like when noticing the severed head earlier, I just freeze up and I just start trembling. It's that just seeing the gore and the physical violence there, like whatever physical violence happened to the bodies, that's just a trigger and it just freezes me and I lock.
And all of you are, even though it was discussed earlier by the Marine, every one of you is now completely convinced this is way more than just a communications problem here.
All right, old timer. Rest of you. And you can. So I also failed, by the way.
Sweet. How does that manifest for you?
He's like anybody that's done combat. He's literally collapsing into his military training. He is following like this is not. He is shutting down everything he can feel, and is just like, we're going on a battle plan. Here's how we're going to move. Like, he is just like, there is going to be a chain of command now. Like, he is just following, and he's just completely in a, but you can see, if any of the androids that are looking at him can see, his right hand is shaking, his trigger hand is trembling just ever so slightly. He's like, all right, we are getting out of this base. This is not worth dying for. We are going to make it to comms, and we are ready to go for evac. We are out of here. This is not worth our lives. All right, and everybody agree?
David?
So outside of game for a moment. So in the initial briefing, the life form that was discovered, it was a what pod, a cephalopod, anthropod. What was that life form?
Arthropod.
Arthropod. Okay, and I guess second
Arthropods, spiders.
Spider. Okay.
Spiders, centipedes.
Yep. All those lots of leg things.
Okay, lots of leg things. And secondly, I'll ask outside of game, but would we have any communication equipment to even get back to the, like, call the shuttle, like call Anders and Renfield back?
Absolutely. You all are equipped with radios.
I would like to think we have like an emergency escape plan.
Absolutely. You just go pull out the radio that is meant to communicate back with the metamorphosis. And as you turn it on, it is just...
And I walk over to the old timer and I click his radio off. Yeah, I knew that was happening when the boat left. Like, I walk over to the old timer, it's like, I heard that happening when the boat left. That's why we need the comms for this base. It's going to be a lot more powerful and cut through the storm.
I should have known better. Getting out of my head here, getting out of my element. You're right. We need to make it to comms and probably ammo up, because whatever was in here, I'm sure it knows we're here by now.
Judging by what Charles was saying, it's been following us from the outside.
Yeah. Could have left the building. I mean, that's where we found Olsen. He started in here, he ended up out here. Maybe that's where it went.
And I think it's abundantly clear to everybody here, it's not just one. There's a bunch of them. Probably in different states of babies, adolescents, adults. But there's definitely more than one. And I think Reese over there had it right. The smaller ones are probably in the ceilings. Probably few of us should have our eyes trained on the ceiling. The rest of us should keep our eyes forward and behind us.
So, my question for you all then is, where are you trying to go? And again, this can be individually, or this can be as groups, whatever. You know the basic layout. Like I said, there is a door to your left that is barricaded. According to your recollections, no matter which of the two large doors you head out of, you'll enter into the hallway where all of the rooms are connected off of. But to the left, headed more directly to the crew habitat and the armory, while straight ahead leads more directly to the command center and the garage. But again, whichever you go out of, they're all connected on the same hallway. It's just one door is slightly closer than the others. There is also the little kitchenette, which does seem to lead off as well. So where are people going?
Is the barricaded? Did you say the barricaded one is the? Where does that one lead?
It would lead faster to the crew habitat and the armory. But again, the hallways, according to the map and your familiarity with these prefab bases, they all connect. Every room here is interconnected off of one general hallway.
I say we take the longer path, the one going towards comms. Reason being is that the only thing that doesn't make sense is that obviously this thing happened suddenly. But somebody did have time to barricade. And they had to be barricading it for some reason. And I don't really feel like questioning that reason.
Makes you wonder if whatever it is by the armory. Maybe we should just head straight to comms and get in there and get them up right away.
I don't like the idea of taking down that barricade either, because again, that's going to be a lot of noise to take that barricade down.
Yeah.
That barricade.
The only thing to you, Egghead, is I don't really care about getting caught with my pants down.
And Reese, you were saying something?
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
Right.
Just
That barricade leads closest to the crew habitat. Based off of what we see here, I think that's the bigger worry than the armory.
Breeding
They're coming
ground?
from inside out.
You right. I think Egghead's idea is probably the cleanest. Go to the comms, see what we see, and then from there go to the armory, if we need it. Which I'm thinking we will. But we should avoid the crew area. I think I agree with Reese. Probably a breeding ground at this point.
Maybe we all head to the comm center, get me and the androids on that. Maybe you take Wiz and David down to the armory, see what you guys can carry back.
No offense to you, but I'd leave Wiz with you. For one reason alone. Nothing against you, kid. I'm honestly not in a better place than you are. But if something does happen to us, blow the hallway. Lock yourselves in comms, blow the hallway.
so. You all start heading towards the northern door. And it opens and leads to, like I said, a hallway that goes left and right, but straight ahead is a smaller hallway that leads to a door that, according to the schematics that you all were shown, should be the command center. Do we go left, right, or straight ahead? Right would lead you to the med bay. That's the only thing that is to the right. To the left, the hallway branches to the left again, just at an L, and you know down that direction is the garage, armory, and crew habitat. So you got 5 places potentially you could go from this hallway, but you all said you were heading to the command center.
Okay.
As you all walk across the hallway, that door automatically opens for you and shuts behind. And the command center is laid out in front of you, the nervous system for the entire base. Along with, all of you can immediately recognize, communication station. But you also notice that on top of the main controls here is a slumped over body in marine dress.
I'm going to approach it, 2 barrels on the door, rest of the barrels on the body. And I'm going to approach it cautiously, and I'm assuming everybody has their guns trained on the body. And I'm going to poke it with my gun.
With your God-given right, we're gonna poke that body with the gun.
With my God-fearing guns.
My God-fearing gun
It
power.
it shifts a little bit, and you're able to see a few things about this body. I'm not sure which one of these Holloway would notice first. but you take all of these in. Probably with your military training, your eyes are immediately drawn to the pistol in the right hand of this body. And just as quickly, drawn to the single bullet wound in the right side of this individual's head. There are
And,
possibly more things that could be
I'm gonna
noticed, but this is what you just said
I'm going
first.
to holster the pistol. I'm going to holster the pistol. Like, I'm going to take it from his hand. And I am going to... Hopefully everybody's still trained on him. And I'm going to kick the body over to where hopefully the chest is facing... I'm going to kick him off the console. And I'm going to hopefully the chest is facing upward. And I'm still pointing my gun at him.
Falls over onto the floor, the chair spinning a few times as it does. It lands chest up, and the chest is still intact. However, you're able to notice a few more things. One has dog tags, and two, just like that other body in the mess hall, the face and hands are covered in those little paper cuts. Also, as the body is shifted over, our two Teamsters and our two androids are able to immediately notice, so that is Reese, David, Wiz, and Charles, immediately notice that the central computer and communications instruments have been smashed. But you get the impression not beyond repair. It would just take time.
Wiz would just let the gun just hang, having no idea that you should secure that. But he's just gonna walk over to the nearest console that looks like it might be something he could try to start fixing, and with wire-wise, because that's what I'm technically wires. Start trying to fix best he can.
You start looking at the damage here, and you get the impression that fixing it with what you with your current knowledge and tools would take you 5 or 6 hours.
Jeez.
It's possible that if you had different tools, maybe it would take less time, but as of right now, you still feel like this could be fixed. You would just have to devote time to it.
I'm gonna... Would it be faster more than one person fix it? Or are you saying, like, no matter how many people fix it, it's 5 to 6 hours?
Highly possible that with more of you focusing on it, it'll reduce the time.
Okay.
Many hands.
You
light
guys are
work.
gonna see Wiz walking over, and you're gonna see that little book that he has. He's gonna open it, and the book actually says how to eat soup with a knife on it. But he's flipping through it, and you see it's nothing but garbled computer jargon and wiring and just like little notes you'd see, kind of like someone who's manic about fixing something. He's just gonna pull it out and just, okay, we get this wire to this wire and to this wire to that console, and we need more tools. We need more tools, Mr. Freeman. We need more tools to fix this. We need more to get this taken care of, so we can get back to the ship. I need more. I need more.
When he says that to me, I just kind of reach down at my tool belt, and I ask him, it's like, you think any of these will help you do some good kick? Is it working with those computers? I'm out of my depth, but you're welcome to any.
I'm just computers hacking to reroute how power is done and information is traveled. I need help to get this done faster. It will take time. And he's just gonna look desperately to like. Well, he knows the scientist now, or Egghead. He's like, Mr. Egghead doesn't have the knowledge for it, but the androids, Reese and no, why do I not have his name? Damn it, Charles.
Speaking
Sorry.
of,
I had it written down. I'm so sorry.
no, you are totally good.
I'm getting too caught up in the manic.
Speaking of Charles, you have your hand up.
Oh, just happy to help. Happy to do whatever I can. As you can see, I opened that door pretty well. So,
And I'm just gonna point to the other console that's got the body slumped over because I am on the. I'm trying to be on the furthest side while still fixing the main part of it. Just pointing to that over there. I need that there, and he's also gonna look over to Reese. Can androids are good with things? Yes, please.
I see you, Corey. Give me a sec.
I'll leave it.
All right, cool. Respect.
Yes, you need to calm down. Your words make no sense.
I will also say really quick that as our Teamsters and androids have been focused on the equipment, our Marine and scientist, Carpenter and Holloway, were still a little more focused on the body, so you also notice, in addition to the pistol that you took from the right hand, in the left hand of this body, it's holding a piece of paper. And as you remove it from its rictus grip, it's a organizational chart of the staff and crew of Greta Base, which I'm now sending to you all.
I hand it to the scientist. Mean anything to you?
And according to the chart, you're able to see that there were about 24 or 25 people initially stationed here at Greta Base. And you have seen living signs of none of them. You have found 3 bodies so far, though.
Looks like we had a couple dozen people in the crew. Didn't seem like nearly that many in the mess hall, so they could be elsewhere, hopefully alive, but we haven't seen any signs of that.
A few of them
Reese.
even have written next to
go for
them, just with pen, KIA.
We've had casualties for sure.
Bad casualties, but when? When did this start?
Something's not adding up here.
Reese, Kid, Charles. Is there anything functioning on that comms, eyes, anything still working? Can we even see the base?
Ethan,
As of right now, nothing is currently working.
son of a bitch.
No.
But you might be able to get fixed.
I'm gonna have to focus this at, hey kid. So everything's damaged, right? Is that what you're telling me?
Mm-hmm. Everything's damaged. Everything's fucked.
Could you get
It's a
one?
cow. Fuck.
Could you get one singular system working quicker than the others? Could you maybe? There's got to be. Would a base like this have a surveillance system?
Potentially, might be something, but it would be accessed here from the command center, if it did.
Yeah. Could you get that working? Is that less damage than the rest of this?
he's at this point now. He's got like wires are everywhere trying to reconnect stuff. He shocked himself about 3 or 4 times. Cigarettes just sticking out now, and he's just trying to figure something out. Ethan, is there a roll or something to see if I can get?
You wouldn't be able. I mean, the
minimum down?
systems are all interconnected, and so
Okay.
you would need to get the whole thing back up running. So it has It's the same amount of time because it's to get the whole system up.
Well, this universe is rude.
It's not like there's one computer with its own, generator that does the cameras. It's all part of the same network.
I'm just gonna be sitting there, just again, manically tearing through stuff, and just like it's gonna take the same amount of time. Same amount of time. I just need time.
All right. You keep doing what you're doing.
Fuck.
Like he slightly reacts to that and it's like he looks at Freeman. I told you. Kid's smart, just wired.
Yeah, it's true. You're right. You're right on that one. But something here is something's getting weird and not adding up here. All right. So
What do you
let's say we've got some sort of alien bug that's going around taking everybody out, right? One, why would the machinery be destroyed? If it's just an alien bug that kills everything, how did the machinery get damaged, for one? And two, I look over at the recent body we just found. That person appears to have killed themselves before something else got to him.
Better way to go.
Right, as in, yeah, trying to avoid a fate worse than death and all that, sure, but then he was holding the roster there with entries, people who had been taken down. That's almost like this guy survived the initial attack and initial movement. He survived sometime afterwards. Maybe this is the last one alive, and he took himself out before it got him.
Yeah, but
I don't.
The question still remains about the comms. You'd have to wonder why they weren't sending any distress beacons or SOSs. Was it some sort of way to
Exactly.
keep these things contained? Keep people from getting off? Because you don't know. I would have to figure there was some rationale behind that.
Really quick, Holloway, while this conversation's been happening, you're a Marine. This is a Marine. And there are dog tags.
Oh yeah, I've taken those.
They read Second Lieutenant Kaplan, who was the individual you all were told to rendezvous with here at Greta Base to reestablish comms.
Well, we found objective 1. Am I reading you right, old timer? Are you saying that this might be foul play?
No, not foul play. I'm thinking that this alien bug is not just on a kill everything or even eat everything or even just to reproduce. It's like, why would... I don't know, this all just seems like these bugs are capable of more than just wiping out everything in the area. Like, with the comms, we're out here talking about the comms, right? Did something decide to disable the comms before something bad happened? Maybe somebody gets mind controlled and sends out a signal that doesn't need to go out.
I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna look at the comms. And you said the body was slumped over it, right?
Correct.
I am specifically going to look for what I think or what I can approximate as fists or an object. Like, does this damage look like it was done by the lieutenant?
You look and inspect. Looks like probably was actually done with the butt of the pistol. crash, just smashing, breaking away. You don't see any signs of cuts, which everything that you have seen that seems abnormal here has been slicing. This is not. This is bashing.
This was done by him.
Apple was
Whole
making a
time.
sacrifice play. He
It
was
seems
trying
like
to. He was. I think he made a last stand here, and when he finally realized nothing needs to get out of this base, and no one should come back to this base, he did his damnedest to make sure nobody would come back here and nothing would get out.
Only problem with your theory, old timer? Protocol dictates that if something like this, you would put out a quarantine in effect. He knew that they would send somebody if they didn't hear from him. That's the only part of this problem that I don't understand, that I don't agree with you. I think you're right. Mostly. The only thing I don't understand is protocol dictates he should put a quarantine in effect or alert somebody so that we don't come. But he smashed it and didn't send out that bolo. So, part of me thinks he might have done this on purpose to get us here, to get more people here. Which means either A, there might be more of an intelligence to what we're dealing with than we probably initially thought, which I agree with you on. Or B, he was a part of it. And this was intentional. I don't know.
Agreed, old soldier. Agreed.
Dawson,
Hmm.
there's another theory you've failed to think of.
I'm all ears.
We might have not gotten the full truth.
Oh, I definitely think we haven't.
I
That's
mean,
a
in
given.
the sense that the quarantine might have been thrown out, protocol might have been followed.
Carpenter?
I'm just wondering about this assembly of a team. Just odd to just send only one Marine if they've lost these comms and there's potential threat. I'm wondering, like, why send just a group of experts and seemingly non-threatening people for these things that gestate within. It seems almost as if, I don't know, we were kind of selected to be carriers in a way. And maybe that's why the comms were smashed, was because anybody can be a carrier and anybody calling for an SOS could be infected. And the lieutenant wasn't going to let that happen.
David?
Oh, all right. Thinking back to when we initially dropped in, the dropship we came down in, was it like no windows, all closed in, and we were just dropped to the surface, or was it like we had the capacity to like look out at windows and take the sights in and everything?
Not from the transport section. There's obviously a window in the cockpit, but such windows are, structural risks if there are too many. Plus, they're not really that necessary in the transport section of a dropship, so it was solid walled.
Okay, because my question was going to be, would it have been possible to look for the communications array as we were coming down to see if it was damaged, or like did the main dish get damaged or something?
So, like I said, you weren't able to see that, but you do know that the main satellite relay is located at the Heron Terraforming Station, which is a second facility that was established here on Greta Bay, or on Samsa 6.
You're right. I think Reese is right. I think we've got too much fragment information to make a judgment call on whether or not this was or was not intentional. I think the one thing that is abundantly clear is that we are not going to find answers here until we get this thing back running. Now, our solutions, if the egghead's here, all you smart ones, is we need more tools. And those are in the garage, most likely, if I had to guess, correct?
Tools, please. Yes, very much needed. Need
Most
them now.
likely.
Tools are on the way to the armory. Actually, you have to pass the armory to get to the tools, to get to the garage.
No. From where you are, you will pass the garage first, and then you'll come to the armory. So the next...
I looked at that map.
Yeah, no, you're totally good. The next, section of the base, the two adjacent to the command center, on one side is the med bay, and on the other side is the garage/utilities section.
Looks like we're going to the garage. Now the only problem with this plan is WizKid over there needs to keep working. Because we can't lose that time. I'm very against us splitting up. We have a better chance of surviving in higher numbers. Thoughts?
I can stay back with Wiz. Help work on stuff and protect him.
From himself.
Yeah, at this point, pretty much. With Wiz just tearing through the wires, he's just gonna stop, reach in his pack, pull out the detonator and switch, and just set it off to the side.
Super cool.
And just go right back into it. And as he's going, he's like, somebody else can make better use of that than I can right now.
So,
And just keep going. If you bring me more things, I can possibly make more of these between me and Mr. Freeman. And as he's working, speech is slowing down. He's calming down. He's doing something that he can hyper focus on, and he's good to go.
yeah, it helps.
So as he sinks into the console and starts working, I do try to go up and talk to him because I'm one engineer to another, and I try to get out of him like, hey kid, what exactly do you need? I might not know the computer portion of it, but if he starts naming off tools and equipment, I believe I'd recognize that.
Absolutely.
Oh, easy.
You too.
Multimeter.
Oh God, you're such a nerd, and I love you for it. Because you actually know some answers to that, please forget I interrupted and go ahead.
Multimeter, wire strippers. I need dead end connectors. I also need a handful of junction box things, and I'll just take like one of the pens out of my ear that's just sitting there, and I'll just start drawing it out. It looks like one of those old school junction boxes for like the old school wire TVs.
Take
that you would have
inspiration, you friggin' nerd.
Yep. You'd have the audio, the red, yellow, white cables, and then it would have that thing. I just start naming off just random tools like that, and I'm like, and hyper specifically, a 10 millimeter socket, because everything is 10 millimeters. What the fuck?
And David, you recognize and you're familiar with every tool that he lists. It may not be your area of expertise, but you are still absolutely familiar with all of these tools.
Could I possibly check my tool belt to see if I have the 10 millimeter socket he
You
just asked
do.
for?
You absolutely do, actually.
I will go
thank
ahead and
God.
I'll hand that over
Common.
to him now.
It's a common.
A miracle.
I'll just take that, honestly, and just put it in one of my pockets, and you see that it's just like a jumble of odd connections, and then I'll just take something else out with like, the tinfoil gum wrappers, and I'll just like wrap that around some cords or some cables, and just try to like get that to have some sort of arc. And
That's
just keep
jury
going.
rigging, baby. So I have a question for you all. As the plans have been starting to be formulated of one group going to the garage and one staying here to work on these repairs, who is staying in the command center? Who is heading to the garage?
Obviously, going to the garage.
Garage for Holloway?
Garage.
garage, yes, to retrieve those tools for Freeman, while
I'll
Wiz
go to
is
the
staying
garage, too.
in the command center. Sam, did you say you were going to, or I'm sorry, Carpenter, did you say you were going to the garage as well?
Yes.
Charles, you said you were staying back in the command center with Wiz. Perfect. What about you, Reese?
The dice decided I will stay.
Okay, so one of our Teamsters and both androids hang back here in the command center while the 3 others head towards the garage. So, could I please get you, Wiz? Again, like I said, it will take time, so this is for a little later on, but could you make me a intelligence or intellect check? And if you have a relevant skill to this, which I believe you might, you can add that. You also, because you're getting help from friends, you will also be able to roll this with advantage once we've calculated the full DC.
Okay.
So your intellect is
so-
what?
My intellect is a 44.
44 to start. And do you have
Yeah.
any relevant skills?
I've got industrial, 0G, computer, and hacking.
I would say
Computer
there's a
hacking.
reasonable argument, definitely for computers, but also for hacking.
Okay, I'll take the hacking because that's a plus 15.
Sure. Actually, for right now, for repairing it, we're
I'll
going to
take
go with
oh,
computers.
computer.
If you need
Yeah.
to get into it, or if there's anything you need to bypass, that would be hacking. So your intellect, you said, was a 44?
Yeah.
So the DC for this is a 54, and you'll roll with advantage. So you want to roll below a 54.
Great. So as I'm doing this, the androids are pointing things out so I don't shock myself to death, which I've tried doing in real life. So that's a 27.
That's on the first, but go ahead
So
and
a
roll
20
again.
and a 7
Yep.
is a 27. Okay.
Yep.
That's a 10 and a 7.
Okay, so 17 is your lowest. So
Okay.
that will be a success, but we'll cut back to that
As I shock myself.
as you shock yourself in the process.
Yeah, I'll just be underneath there and just slam my head on the console. Just fuck, shit, fuck. I hate everything. And just smoking another cigarette. So it's just you don't know if it's wire smoke or computer smoke coming out or just cigarette, just a train of cigarette smoke.
It's all mixing.
Yep.
But we cut now to those heading down the hall towards the garage.
Oh no, battle music.
Nice music change, wasn't it?
Oh,
The
no.
doors to the garage
you-
open.
Did you guys take the detonator?
Nope. Still there.
Oh,
Unless
Nope.
someone said they took
I
it.
was. Nope. He's like that wouldn't have been Callaway. He would have left it hoping that somebody would have rigged the hallway to blow behind him.
So then, the 3 of you, Dan Carpenter, David Freeman, and what was your rank again, Holloway?
Oh, you guys made me staff sergeant, E6.
And Staff Sergeant Holloway, who has been knocked down to this shit mission.
Yeah.
The 3 of you enter into the garage. And what you see in here is, well, the first thing is you hear, as the doors open, the steady dripping of water echoing off of metal walls. As the doors shut behind you, you are able to see that to your left there is a bulky APC, an armored personnel carrier, and it's sitting idle. Its reinforced exterior is smeared with grime and mud. The vehicle's armored hatches are currently shut. On the opposite, nearby to where you enter, because this is absolutely what you would be looking for first, David, you see a cluttered tool bench that is strewn with various tools. Nearby it, there are also several barrels of fuel stacked against the wall. The labels of those barrels are faded and peeling, and you can also see, not too far from there, a currently idle, what looks like a generator. But the main sound that actually catches your interest as you enter
fucking
the
ceiling.
garage is that repetitive thudding sound. And as you walk in here into the garage, you can tell that this is the source of that sound. Specifically, the source seems to be from a massive dirt hole gouged out of the floor. Its edges are wet and slick with mud, and standing ankle deep in a murky puddle at the bottom of this hole is a Marine. She has a belt of grenades strapped around her chest, and she's currently digging with a shovel, with mechanical focus. Seems completely oblivious to you all entering here.
I'm gonna whisper to the old timer. I need you to make your way to this. I need you to make your way to that tool, where those tools are. And how big are these barrels of fuel?
Pretty sizable barrels. I mean, this place is supposed to be independently functioning for quite some time.
You think we can move one of those? Or is it like
You could probably roll them. You could roll them, but you could not carry it by yourself.
Oh, never mind.
There is an APC there, though. That could definitely carry it.
Yeah. Anything we try to move.
What's it go for?
I was gonna say, anything we try to do to make a move on them barrels is gonna give us away by sound.
Yeah, you're right. I was just hoping I could shoot it and blow up whatever's about to come out of that hole. All right.
Do you think it might be worth it to take her out first, dump a barrel in, and then light it up?
My conscience won't let me shoot her, but I am willing to knock her out.
Well, that depends
How
on
far
how much
down
of
is
her
she?
is left in there.
The hole is, I mean, it's sizable in its width, but it's not so deep that you can't see the Marine digging here as soon as you walk in. It's a couple feet deep. I will say, as you, the two or three of you, glance at the hole a little bit more, one other thing you notice is that there is a power line that is running on the ceiling that has been severed at some point and is dangling into very near the hole. And I do have a question for Carpenter. What are you doing as soon as you walk in? What catches your attention?
Well, I've noticed that she seems very like catatonic at this point. Like, I don't even know if she'd be hostile. So I don't think that we need to necessarily engage like that, but also that wire is dangling dangerously above, and there's all this fuel around. We best be careful with what we do.
You know what an anglerfish is?
Yeah, of course.
This feels like an anglerfish.
How do you
That's
mean?
what- I
Like
don't
she's
know.
bait?
Like she's the little light at the end, and something's in that hole. It's what cut the cord. That's a big ass cord to cut. Power line to the whole structure. Big hole underneath it. Catatonic Marine just working away at a non-human pace. Feels like an anglerfish.
Freeman.
About that power line. So, I've forgotten how electricity actually works, but would this be something like on cartoons where you can tell the severed line is still active because there's sparks coming off of it? Like, is there a way to tell if that line is still active or
Fair.
not live?
There is not a ton of light in here right now. Like I said, anywhere that there has been lights that are still functioning, they're flickering, they're struggling. You don't get any indication, you have experience, that this is currently active. Now, it isn't always visual. It's not like if there is an active line, it isn't quite cartoons and that you always see a spark. But given the fact that it is so... You trace the line with your eyes, and it leads you back to that backup generator. But as of right now, you don't think it's active. It might be. There's a very easy way to find out.
All right. I think we should get the tools, keep our eye on the Marine, and then make our move that we want to... Anything extra we want to do in this room. Because I feel if we touch pretty much anything, shit's about to hit the fan. What's your call, old-timer? What do you think?
Well, main objective is the tools. So I say we make sure we prioritize those. And also to the warden, can we see... We were able to see the tools when we came in. We saw the bench,
Yes.
right? Okay, can I, like, in some way kind of look to the other two? It's like, look, in case this gets ugly and everybody don't make it out of here. And I try to let them know exactly what tools he was talking about. 'Cause, like, that way, like, if for some reason I don't make it, the two of them would at least be able to
Totally fair.
recognize this is what the kid needed.
Totally fair. Totally
So,
fair.
Yeah, ain't
that
gonna
way.
happen. You taking it back to the kid. If anybody's gonna die in this room, it's gonna be me. All right. You can see, like, he's like, all right, let's fucking do this shit.
So, what are we doing?
All right. So we're at the entrance of the room.
Mhm.
We see the Marine is digging in the middle. Where are the tools in relation to that?
Much closer to the door that you just
Okay.
entered into. They're off to the left, not too terribly far.
All right. And they can come with me if they want. I'm going to just kind of sneak on up, if stealth is a thing here, is try to get over to that tool bench and grab what the kid needed.
Absolutely.
And then I'm going to go back to the door.
Absolutely.
Because the tools are the priority.
Right now, no check required for that. And as you make your way over to the tool bench, you see it has assorted different tools here. Almost everything, not all of the things that were specifically asked for, but most of them. There is also a flashlight, which is nice because at this point you've been relying predominantly on that strapped to the firearm of Holloway. There is also a patch kit, a nail gun with a nearby box of 1,000 nails, and a hand welder.
Grab the hand welder.
Okay, so I will grab now the patch kit. That is for patching up a suit, right? Like patching up a hazard suit, a space suit.
One sec. A patch kit is for repairing vac suits mainly. But yes, repairing hazard suits, things like that.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab what the kid asked for. The flashlight, the welder. I already have my own nail gun. I'm gonna take the nails.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I will take that patch kit.
Okay. No problem.
And again, back to the door.
What about
And I'm gonna, gun trained on the Marine, I'm gonna back out of the room with those two behind me. Like, gun trained on the Marine. Like, hopefully they're covering the hallway. We're just gonna back out of the room.
Are you leaving as well, Carpenter? Or-
Yes, I'm
okay.
following with them and carrying what else I can.
You all then return back down the hallway to the command center, where Reese, Charles, and Wiz have been working on the getting the computer system back up and running.
Any of you have a psychological background? Anything like that? No? Not a single one of us? Alright.
You just see feet sticking out of the console at this point, and you just like, is this a blue wire with white stripes or a white wire with blue stripes? What the fuck is this? And he's just losing his mind.
I'm gonna lean under the console and be like, "Hey, I'm never one to criticize how anybody works, but being loud's not advised in this situation."
I just throw you just a bundle of wires that looks like a bird nest is just thrown out from behind me. Right.
So I have a overarching question here. You have acquired these tools, and you all are now back in the command center. Is the plan for you all to stay in here until the repairs are completed, or is there anything else? Because like I said, with 3 people helping, it'll probably take 2 hours. Especially with that roll. So you managed to drop the time down by a lot. You've made, the 3 of you, Charles, Reese, and Wiz, have made pretty good progress in here already. So are we all hanging out in here until that's completed, or are we doing other things in the meantime?
Can we fast forward to where we accomplish the mission and don't meet anything terrifying?
Skip to the end.
We are safely on the dropship.
Oh,
Yep.
man, good job, y'all. Man, this is like Lord of the Rings. There have been like 2 endings already.
Oh, one other question. Now, if everything is going to be established comms, the mission continue forming all that, but in case things went ugly, it was get Kaplan out of here. Wasn't there something else?
Yes.
Also,
also,
Hinton?
Hinton, the...
Sorry.
No, you're totally
Hinton.
right. Great job.
Okay.
Hinton, the synthetic science officer of this mission. Or at minimum, according to Moss, his data core.
So get Hinton or his data core. Okay.
Hope the other androids know what the hell that data core and where it might be located is.
So, I feel like all of us, while they're doing their work, kind of want to know where we're going with this. My personal feelings is I'm really close to retiring. I'd rather not die here. And it feels like there's a lot of dying. If you all are wanting to continue doing our job, I can't say that I agree with you at all. But if we do get comms back on, we do need reinforcements. This is beyond our pay grade. And so we, at least at the bare minimum, need to call in for additional support. Because
I'm just worried about that survivor still. I can't stop thinking about it. That's the first and only person on this entire base that we've seen alive, and I don't feel good about just leaving her out there.
I don't think she's alive. I know you. I get it, Egghead. And if you want to go find out, I'll help you. I'm telling you right now, my gut tells me she's not alive, that she's bait.
Well, I have this foam gun that could immobilize her if it turns hostile, but I just don't feel good about someone potentially being just traumatized, stuck here, and not even helped.
What do you got, David? Go for it.
Well, this is gonna be out of game. So with the woman the Marine we saw in there, and we had the listing that was in Kaplan's hand. Could we get an idea of who that was off of that roster list?
Ooh, that is so... Oh my god.
That is a wonderful question. Now, you have all the bodies you have found so far, well, most of them, had dog tags, and that let you eliminate Kaplan and
Olson.
Olson, thank you very
Olson.
much. Too many names from that contention. However, according to the roster that you retrieved from Kaplan's corpse, there are at least another 10 Marines that were stationed
But
here.
This one's a female,
That's
so we can
true.
eliminate by female names and not dead because there were some KIA. So if there are any females that would have been KIA,
All the names are done military form on the roster, and that is rank and last name.
damn it.
You have like Corporal Ivanovic, HM3 Brookman, PFC Glockner, a number of different ones. Corporal
Hold on.
Novik.
There, but not all of them would have been military. This has got military mixed with contractors, I would assume.
Well, all of the fighting folk here, they were all Marines, all ranked, all enlisted. So in terms of
is the list itself all military?
No, I was just listing out the ones who were military, since the person you saw was wearing Marine garb.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's 10 left that were military, that were female.
Well, may have been. It's not listed. Their sex or gender is not listed on there.
Dang it. That's right. Oh, man, if we had comms, this would be better.
They're working on it.
Nah, I know. All right. Oh, God damn it, Egghead. You want to go back in there?
Like I said, I have this foam gun. We could immobilize her, find out whatever information we can.
And if there's a big-ass spider underneath her?
Well, maybe we hit the armory first.
Big ass spider used, and I'll push that detonator, the explosive.
You're right. I like heads out. There's a lot of fuel in that room. Fuck yeah. Actually, that's what we're doing. All right, fine, Egghead. You want to go find out about the girl? I am going to rig that whole hole to blow to hell.
I can make that deal.
All right. Anybody else want to go on this ill-advised educational run?
As Charles slowly raises their hand.
All right, Charles. Let's do it.
Is that what you were wanting to do, Charles?
That is indeed.
All right. So,
All right.
who all is staying behind this time? If Charles is coming, Reese, you are still staying behind with Wiz. Are you as well, David?
No, David is going to stay this time to see if he can help the kid out a little bit.
Awesome. Okay. So we still have 2 groups of 3, slightly different this time. Those of you continuing to work here in the command center, continue working.
Okay, but one thing before that, the group that's going out, I will hand over the flashlight that I found.
Absolutely.
So-
I'm gonna give it to the Egghead. It's you.
And so I hand that to him.
All right.
All right, let's go fucking die.
Charles, Holloway, and Carpenter exit and return to the garage. You see the same scene that you saw when you were in here previously. Charles, you didn't see this, but you see everything I described. Armored personnel carrier on one side of the room, doors closed, a generator currently offline, barrels of fuel, tool bench, and this Marine just digging away in this hole.
All right, science boy. Do your thing. And as whatever he's about to do, whatever he does, I am going to go to the very edge of this hole and start laying down the the charges, the C4 charges.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna.
But very slowly and very methodically.
You get there,
Alright.
by the way. You approach the edge of the hole, and you even accidentally kick something down into it, and it plunk into the water. The Marine gives no indication of noticing.
I move around with my flashlight and foam gun, to be in her eye line. And I flash the light at her and call out, "Hey, hello," and wave the flashlight a couple of times. We're here to help. Jeez. Charles, do you think you can help me down there and see if I can get that shovel?
Yeah, no, of course. What do you need? You need a hand?
Just hold my arm and just lean me over. I think I can grab that shovel from her.
Yeah. I got you.
Holloway is now currently. He has laid all the charges. I assume that I could have done that by now, right? And I am now backing towards the armored vehicle.
Okay.
Oh, there's a 30-minute timer, by the way.
Oh, it's a timer, not a detonator?
I'm sorry.
And go. 29:59. 29. Fuck!
Oh, you know he would immediately. Holloway would have looked at it and been like, "That fucking kid."
I so wish that were real now.
Scene.
I wish that were real.
So Charles and I are linked up, just leaning over the edge of the hole. I reach out and I grab the shovel.
Okay.
And try and pull it from her.
You just get lowered down by Charles, and you wait for the shovel to come back to throw the mud.
Yeah.
And
And it comes back.
You catch it,
Catch it.
and the head of this Marine whips towards you. And upon seeing the two of you, not really seeing the third one right there, there is her neck looks like it engorges. And starts to be pushed from the inside as suddenly these long crab-like legs erupt from the neck of this Marine. And she lets out just one more as these 2.5 meter long legs come bursting out, and we'll pick up there next time.
I was gonna fucking fire on it. I was like Holloway knew this was gonna happen. 100% knew this was gonna happen.
Let's fucking go.
As soon as he said he wanted to go back,
Thank you so much, Sam, for being a player who does the horror things. God love you for it.
Well, the gap on this one.
Well,
He's like, I have this foam gun. I am going to use it
I
whether
wi-
it kills me or not.
I rolled this in character creation, and I'm gonna fucking use it.
Yeah. It can
I'm-
still be
I'm-
used right now.
Fantastic
God.
first session, and what a place to leave it, y'all. Thank you so much for playing this game with me. It means the world, and I cannot wait to see where this goes, and we won't have to wait long because we will be back in a week. Same channel, same time, same masochistic crew. Well
God.
done to all of you. Thank you again, players, for taking time out of your Monday, your busy week, your busy schedule to tell this story and play this game. It means the absolute world. Before we leave everyone here in the stream, please don't go anywhere so that we can raid, share the love, and if you want to listen to this first episode cleaned up, it will be dropping on Go Buff Yourself as soon as I can edit it. But we'll get there. So thank you all again. I appreciate you so much for being here. Let's go ahead and say goodbye to our wonderful players. Does anyone have any announcements, any projects you're working on, shows you're doing that you can talk about, cons you're going to, or just anything cool? If anyone wants to chime in while I search for a channel to raid, go ahead. Corey.
Season 2 of MF Ghost just started last Sunday. We will be, obviously the dub is going to be coming out 2 weeks later. obvi. That's how we just do things these days. So I will be returning as Shun Aiba. So if you are a fan of anime and you remember the original Initial D and you love Initial D and are a car person like me,
Yes.
go check out MF Ghost. It is a dream come true to get to be in that show and to be a major part of that show. Because my first anime ever where I knew I was watching an anime was Initial D. So to be my first lead, to be in Initial D is an amazing thing.
We're
The
so
season
fucking
2
proud of
just
you.
started last Sunday. It's amazing. I love it. Aiba's best. 100% number 9. So yeah, go check it out. Also, I have another thing that's going to be happening in October that I'm really excited to share with you guys when it
Not
finally gets announced. Not yet, though.
Oh, so
Not
proud
yet.
of you, man. Anyone else got any announcements or socials, shout outs for the wonderful people who were here watching and listening?
If you're in Denver on October 18th, Friday,
yeah.
come to the Chaos Bloom Theater. Sam and I are part of a sketch comedy team called the
should do that.
Dads. We're back on stage 7 p.m. $5 tickets, right? So if you're in the Denver area, South Broadway, Chaos Bloom Theater, and then on the 26th, the Saturday, we'll be in Colorado Springs doing another show, doing a full big hour.
So proud of you
Yeah.
all. And if you are in the area, it's so worth it. It's such a fun time. And please text me a reminder of that show time so that we can go.
Right. And also on the 25th, before that Dad's show, down here in Littleton, I'm putting on the Littleton Comedy Show. Going to have 5 more new comics. It's a free show, so come on down, have some laughs. It's been really great, and hoping
And
to
you two
see you all there.
also have a podcast. Where can they find that?
Yes, we do. So we have 2 podcasts. One is called DMT, Don't Miss This Podcast. It's the rambling buffoonery of Jack and I on a weekly basis. And then also DMT Reviews, where we review movies with our other producer friend, Mike. And those are on all podcast platforms anywhere. And we're on hiatus right now, but we're coming back here soon.
Awesome. Gabby? Sean? Jolly? Any announcements?
Show up next Monday for a
Show up next
continuation of
Monday.
the story.
Well, then I will end with our final announcements. We will be live again here tomorrow. Today was day 4 out of 5 of 5 straight days of TTRPGs, 4 of which I'm DMing, 3 of which have been streamed. So come back tomorrow for chapter 12, 13 of City of the Crimson Tower. It's getting good. It's a contemporary or noir retelling of the Curse of Strahd story using the Savage World system. Very, very, very cool. Very proud of
That
all
face
those
you're
players.
making, dude, it's that good.
Oh,
It is that good.
I'm so proud of those players. They are telling such a cool, emotional story. I've gotten choked up just listening to them a few times. They're so good. So those are our announcements. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Thank you for being here. Let's start a raid over to our cosplay buddy, Ivy Doom Kitty. She is wonderful and helped Lauren out big time at one convention where she forgot her anxiety meds at home and was being racked with intense panic attacks. Ivy Doom Kitty was there to sweep in with her own medications to help.
Hey.
And that was very, very appreciated. So thank you all for being here. We appreciate. We'll be back with this story Monday, City of the Crimson Tower tomorrow, Wild Beyond on Saturday. It is a whole busy month of streaming here on Go Buff Yourself. And speaking of which, until we see you next time, friends, go buff yourself. Bye, everybody. And we are out. Well done.